What's up, nerds? We're your hosts. I am Chad.
And I am Jake. This is our weekly podcast where we explore the world of nerd from TV, movies, games, comics, news, and books.
We will give you our opinions, theories, and oftentimes spoilers.
We will also have friends and experts as guests on the show to elaborate further on those topics.
But be prepared. We like to have a few drinks, so buckle up.
If you want to support our show, like, share, and subscribe wherever you enjoy your podcasts.
You can also become a premium subscriber over at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd.
So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd.
Welcome, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chad, shut the fuck up. I hope you had a good week.
Shut the fuck up. I hope you had a good week.
But as always, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, buckle up, buckaroos.
Fuck.
So, it's gonna be one of those weeks for all of our listeners. But let's get right into our first topic here, which is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This was the penultimate episode. This show does not disappoint at all.
No.
It's been so good from start to finish. I'm really eager to see how different, because again, I did not read the books, but I saw the film. I'm really eager to see how different, like this final confrontation is. It's gonna be so.
Because they have the now. Who has the shoes? Hermes' shoes. Didn't one of them have it?
I think Grover kicked them off at one point in time.
Oh, they go into the when Grover is like sliding towards that pit.
Oh yeah.
They like fly off his feet and like go down into.
Yeah, because they were like dragging him towards it.
That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I swear somebody had those on at some point. Yeah. Maybe this is like a really not good thing for us, for nerd podcasters. I was maybe a little half in the bag when I watched it. So
what
like,
a perfect way to describe exactly how I was as well.
so I'm like, oh shit, what happened in that episode? But some of it's coming back to me now, so we're good. As soon as you said they like flew off his feet, I was like, oh, I remember what happened. Yeah. I mean, what else? We know they lost one of the pearls, which was supposed to be, one of them was supposed to get Percy's mom.
Yeah, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
If you don't get that, then you are young.
Then you probably need a permission slip signed by your parents in order to be listening to this podcast. But
keep listening. We need it.
And with your parents' permission, take their credit card and subscribe to our Buy Me a Coffee. I mean, what? No, don't do that. It's tough.
What?
This was a really cool like interpretation of how they kind of like navigated their way through like the underworld, which is really cool. Instead of trying to buy off the boatman to carry them down the river Styx, they had to navigate their way through just the wilderness of the underworld. It was really cool, and the cinematography for all of this looked absolutely stunning.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Same.
Well, so just for a little bit of context for listeners, we weren't planning on recording today because my girlfriend and I we have like an annual party. It's a Hawaiian party in the dead of winter, even though this winter doesn't really feel like it right now. Um, it's supposed to be ironic, but it's a lot of fun. This was our second year doing it, and I imagined I was going to be overly hungover. And when I woke up, I was like, I don't feel that bad. So I was like, Chad, do you want to still podcast? And he's like, sure. And then about an hour ago, my hangover started kicking my ass. So I had left room originally to rewatch this episode before we podcasted, but because I thought I had another day.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So I apologize.
I mean, I normally try, especially when we talk about like TV shows, try and watch that episode twice, just in general, especially a lot of the Disney Plus shows, come out on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and we usually podcast over the weekends. So, that's several days, and I don't have the best of memories. So I totally get that, but I didn't.
Do you
rewatch
remember
it at
why?
all.
Because in the show, in this episode of the show, the girl, what's her name again?
Annabeth?
Huh?
Annabeth?
She's not with them for part of it, and I can't remember why.
Oh, it's when they're making their way through.
Downtown.
That'd be if they're making their way.
I know.
But they're making their way through.
You said making your way, and I was like, and then you said through, and I was like, I'm gonna do it anyway.
But they're going through the woods, and there's people that have like turned to trees, basically, that are living their, they die with like regret still in their hearts. So her feet become stuck and start to root themselves into the forest. Don't quite know exactly what her deep-seated root of regret is yet. And then she must use her pearl to get out, because when they get out, she's there. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the show's cool. I would go check it out if I were you. I'm gonna have to check it out twice because I'm me. And
it's good. Jake, well, I know it might help with those like mental faculties and giving you a little bit of an edge up on the world, is if you tried out this little thing called Raise Energy. Funny enough, they're a sponsor of this show still, somehow. But great energy drinks, supplements, protein-packed desserts, plant-based options as well. 0 sugar, 0 calorie, and 0 crash for those energy drinks. But listen up, learn how to save 15%. That was super rough, and I'm so sorry. Okay, bye. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, zero sugar, and zero carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
Okay, we are going to continue our... I don't even need to say continue anymore. We're just going to do... Your dog is doing something weird in the background over here.
She just
I guess I could only see like her knee sticking up, and it was just like going like all over the place. I was like, "What is she doing?"
Getting comfortable.
Sorry.
She's mad that I've locked her in this room so that I have more control over the light.
Anyways, so we are going to continue our trivia. We did this the past 2 weeks now. This will be our third week running here. And this week is a question for moi. Jake, me. Hi. I'm the problem.
It's moi. No. Oh.
Go for it.
That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Okay, so far all of these questions have been provided by DigiCat Tech. So check out DigiCat Tech for all of your needs for digital marketing and things like that. Marty's awesome. So this question for Jake is: this DC character, who is a former Marine and expert marksman, is renowned for that marksmanship, combat skills, and his affinity for heavy artillery. His codename is synonymous with a specific weapon that he wields with deadly precision. Who is this character?
I mean, you said it was is it Deadshot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even took out certain words that made it even a little bit more on the nose there. But yeah.
How did I get there? Well, that was pretty easy. Marty, we're gonna have you step up these questions a little bit.
The first one was really good.
The first one, it stumped me for 1 second until I asked you to read the question again, and you were like, create.
Yeah.
Stuff. And I was like, oh, Iceman. But anyways, well, there's only a couple like military combat people. Like there's Rick Flag, and there's Deadshot. Those are like really the only people that came to mind. And then when you said that his weapon was, whatever, I was like, oh, Deadshot.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rick Flag doesn't have like a specific weapon that he uses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't have like a signature weapon.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, Deadshot. Never mind. That eliminated the only question in my mind is which one of these two people is it? Yeah.
Also, just like a code name.
Yeah.
Because Rick Flag is just that.
Rick Flag.
His name is Rick.
Yeah. Rick. Okay, well, that was fun, and we'll keep doing this. The next week will be Chad's question. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some nerd news, upcoming stuff that we do every week. So,
also, before we get into that, if anyone wants to try and stump us,
I like that idea.
Yeah, reach out to us. Either on like Instagram or shoot us an email over at hello.
Yeah, and then we'll give you a shout out, and then we could read that question and try to answer it. Yeah.
And you can put it in there who you want to ask the question of, so that that person knows not to look and give themselves a week to prepare for it.
Yeah, it's a good, fair way to do it too. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Stump us.
Hit us up. All right, now to nerd news.
Well, we got a new trailer for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I believe this would be the last trailer. But holy fucking shitballs. It looks so good, dude. I know we've been saying that for weeks now, that since we've heard about it and seen
Mm-hmm.
the first teaser trailer to the first trailer and now this trailer. But this trailer, if you haven't seen the newest trailer, it's like almost a 3 minute long trailer, and oh man, it's fucking crazy. Crazy.
You see, like, all the different bending styles
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah.
well. Um,
You also see that he's just a kid too. Like there's like that. That's I think maybe
like
where
the
the M. Night
playfulness.
Shyamalan movie like failed, was like they made him like super serious and like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's just a kid. You know
Yeah,
he doesn't want to be the last Airbender. He just is, and you know he kind of has to like take on that responsibility.
yeah.
Whatever. Sorry, I'm gonna
No,
nerd out a little too much, but
I
yeah.
I totally agree. I mean, I it's weird because like even though he is in the body of a child, like he's actually like over 100 years old because
Mhm,
he was trapped in that ice,
mhm.
kind of like Captain America. Um, prevented aging and all that stuff. But I mean, he is still a kid, so it's cool to see like that playfulness and the goofiness, and it's much more true to the source material. I did read online, and I mean the studio and the production company were like, yeah, we did this on purpose.
Mhm.
They took out one plot point about like I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the fire meteor
Mhm.
that was supposed to be like a symbol for the Fire Nation, that it's their turn to rule and conquer and do all that stuff. But also like in the original anime, like that plot point was kind of abandoned after a couple of seasons anyways.
Mhm.
So I think that them just cutting that out is just gonna let the story just flow a little bit better because it never gets.
Did you watch either the did you watch the anime at all?
A little bit here and there. I started watching a little bit more with um like the later like spin-offs, like is it called like the Legend of Korra or something like that, where it's
Mm.
like the new Avatar after Aang
A-
kind of
And then
like
did
ages
you
up.
watch the M. Night Shyamalan
Oh my god, it was so bad.
movie?
Yes.
That's all I wanted to know.
the the M Night Shyamalan one basically covered like four of the manga books
Mm.
in an hour and 40 minutes, um, by overly aggressively just forgetting about major plot points. It was super bad.
Super bad.
So bad. Hey, super bad.
Uh, well, we know, we got the release date finally for Invincible season 2 part 2. Yeah. Comes out on March 14th. So not too far away, but far enough that I'm pissed about it. Like,
Yeah.
why did you split it up? We could have been done. And we could have been done and mad about the fact that season 2 is over already.
Yeah.
You can't make the fans happy, you guys, no matter what you do.
But now what
Um,
happens is by doing this, they made us mad because we have to wait for the second half of season two.
yeah.
And then we're going to be mad when that ends and have to
Is it
wait
you?
for season three.
It
What?
had to have been you. My email's not open. Did you just get an email?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Huh.
Did Oh, I guess I did.
Yeah. You have your. It made a noise.
Oh, weird. I'm sorry.
Fucking rookie. Just kidding.
Um, it's weird because my system is set to do not disturb, and I turned off notification sounds for my emails. That's weird. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, Invincible Part 2,
Beha.
Season 2 comes out March 14th. Be ready because there's not really, they put out like a teaser trailer for it, and it really just shows, I mean, obviously go look it up, but it just shows Mark, it shows like a trail of blood because obviously Mark was super fucked up at the end of that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
The end of the part one finale, and it just shows like a trail of blood, and then it shows like Mark crawling up to like a hill, and as he's like looking over the planet that he's on with the like insect people, it's all everyone's dead,
yeah,
and the planet's just like burning. Um, which I think will give Mark that because at the end of that episode, the finale, they gave Mark, the Viltrumites gave Mark an ultimatum. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna execute your dad because he abandoned his post, and you're gonna take his place. And if you don't, we're just gonna come there and fucking murder everybody, including you." Um, obviously, hopefully, obviously, Mark is not gonna do that. And I think that in that trailer, the teaser trailer that they show, is with him looking over an entire planet that's been decimated. He's gonna be like, this is what they're gonna do to my planet, you know.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And kind of because we saw in also in that last episode, he's fighting, but he's holding back. He's not going all out, um, kind of out of fear, whatever it is. But Omni Man, his dad is like, don't hold back. They're not going to hold back. You have to, like, they will kill you. You have to
hmm
fight with everything you have.
hmm
And then we see him start doing that. So I think
yeah.
that also by seeing what they did to this planet, he's going to, I don't want to say like snap, because I don't think he's going to go
I
maniacal.
do think he's going to. I think that's I mentioned this when we were talking about the first half of the whatever season, but last season, for season one, every time uh the logo would come up, Invincible, it got bloodier and bloodier and bloodier and bloodier as the show went on. And this season, it's like glass breaking. And it's getting more and more cracked as the episodes are going on. And I think it's like an emotional, this is just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's like an emotional thing. I think he's gonna snap. I think it's like his like stability is like breaking, and I think he's gonna have like a breaking point at the end of season two. I think that's what they're doing with that.
Yeah. And I remember us talking about that. I think that what I meant by like snap is like I don't think he's going to be like a maniacal, like murderous person back on
No.
Earth. I think that he's going to like snap and not hold back in fights anymore, and we will probably see a couple of instances where he fucks up bad because of it, but
Yeah.
also with some like Viltrumite encounters, we're gonna see that by him doing that, it might actually be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
The beginning of the season shows us a evil version of Mark. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was like what first episode, I think. So not that it's him on a different like
Yeah.
timeline and blah 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 blah, but
Multiverse.
still, just saying the
Also,
potential is there.
Langston Levy needs to like show back up because that was a big part of like the first episode, and then just gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I imagine that'll
how do you set
be
up a multiverse that quickly, that aggressively, and then stop?
also, and we already talked about it, so I'll move on pretty quickly from this. But also the multiverse thing, it does raise more than one eyebrow about the Spider-Man possibility.
I
In
know.
in the comics, they team up briefly in a multiversal kind of thing, and I feel like we're gonna get an episode.
I hope so.
But who? Who? Which Spider-Man? Who's gonna voice him? I want to know now. I want to know now, or I want a divorce.
Hold up there. Um, do you want just? We also don't
I
have a
know.
lot of stuff prepared,
No,
so
I do know.
uh,
We talked about it already. But yeah, we do know who is voicing him, don't we? Don't we?
do we?
I thought we did. Don't we?
I don't remember that conversation.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask, who do you want to voice him? Do you want it to be one
Like
of
the
the?
original animated Spider-Man series would be fucking dope. I thought it was. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
It doesn't say. Of course it doesn't, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I guess who I'd want it to be would be the original animated like old school Peter Parker from like when I was a kid. But I'll take anything.
That's fair. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I don't remember the guy's name. I think that what would be really cool would be to get like the most recent uh like the Insomniac game, Spider-Man. You know, like the PlayStation, uh, PS4, PS5 exclusive games. Um,
Josh Keaton.
oh, from the Ultimate Spider-Man, right?
That's literally I googled who's playing Spider-Man in Invincible season 2, and it came up Josh Keaton is an American actor
Jesus
that is
Christ.
casted to play in Invincible who will voice an unknown character in season 2.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't think it was I think he was the Spectacular Spider-Man, if I'm remembering, or he's done a
Yep,
few of them.
yep. Peter Parker, Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man. He also had a cameo in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and he also voiced Hal Jordan, aka Green Lantern, in Green Lantern the animated series.
Okay.
So, that kind of confirms it. I mean, that really
That's right.
just confirms it.
That's right. Now I remember us talking about it because when it
They showed all the
I had
voice
all the
lists that
names
were on the.
and that name
That's why
popped
I was
out.
like, I thought we knew that already. Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry to our listeners. You just had to watch us
It
basically have a
just
reverse stroke. Um,
ugh.
I don't know if I should have said that out loud or not.
Let's move on. We've been on
Yeah,
Invincible for a while here.
cool. Um, this next one is actually super exciting. We got a trailer for it's called Monkey Man or The Monkey Man, but what's really cool about it is Dev Patel, who a lot of our listeners would know from like the Green Knight,
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah,
Maybe not a lot of our listeners would know him from that, but that was kind of his like big breakout.
yeah.
Um,
But this is his directorial debut. So,
yeah. And
and
it's
what?
also produced by Jordan Peele,
Yeah,
who's been putting out a lot of like crazy stuff lately. So in a good way.
lots of fucking bangers, just constantly.
Yeah.
And not only is Dev Patel directing, but he's also starring in this,
Hmm.
and it
As the main character, like
as the
he
main
is the
character.
star. Yeah.
Yeah, and this looks awesome.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a mainly Indian cast, which is fucking dope.
Hmm.
Uh, because outside of like Bollywood, we don't see that a lot. Especially here in America, and yeah, the U.S. of A. Which
USOR.
something that's really cool that's happening right now is with I think that with this movie and with Godzilla minus one, it's like opening a really cool door to a bigger cinematic universe for everybody to enjoy, not just where you live. And
Yeah,
I think that's fucking dope.
100%. In this movie, I don't remember what the name of the like ape or gorilla god is, but they also reference it in uh, Black Panther.
The Oh, nice.
In the first one. Um, but what's really cool is that there's a lot of like heavy influence on things like that throughout this. And this movie seems to have a lot of single shot fight scenes. A
Is
lot
it
like
Hanuman?
yeah,
Yeah.
the monkey god or
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Which I mean that's super cool.
That's
Have
super cool.
having that either be an influence or directly tied into the story. We don't know a lot about the overarching story, other than this guy has basically been living his life in order to prepare himself to get revenge on the people that murdered his mother. It looks
Yeah.
sweet. Single shot fight scenes. It kind
Yeah,
of has
go
a
check out the
John Wick
trailer.
vibe,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna
with
say
less
that. I
less
literally was gonna
guns.
say
It
that.
seems like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Um,
a
yeah,
little bit of like not as precision fighting as John Wick, but
more like aggression based.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks fucking cool. Go check out the trailer. That is on YouTube. It looks really fucking good. Last thing for nerd news, that we wanted to talk about. I particularly am excited about this because I grew up watching these kind of movies and I specifically liked this one, is Roadhouse. Original is
Roadhouse.
Patrick Swayze. The new one coming out, Roadhouse, is Jake Gyllenhaal and oh shit, I should have looked up her name. What? Jake Gyllenhaal. Fuck, what is her name? Shit, I feel like an asshole.
Oh, I just had this up.
I'm gonna be so mad at myself as soon as I. Oh no, actress. There we go. Danielle Melcher.
I I
We
think
struggled with it last time. It's either Melcher or Melchior.
yeah,
Let's see if I maybe
Melchior.
it'll give you like the breakdown of how to pronounce their name. European. So Danielle. Well, they did the first name. They just didn't do her last name. That's super
It
annoying.
might be Melchior.
Yeah. Anyways, she played Ratcatcher 2 in um the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version of the Suicide Squad. Um so she's in it, and then the girl from I'm So Stupid, why didn't I do all
From
this before?
Shrinking,
Shrinking.
Jessica Williams.
You got it? Okay, thank
Yep.
God. Uh, she's in there, and Conor McGregor is also. He's the I think the main villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah. So this
it's a stretch because he plays an angry Irishman that likes to fight people.
he plays himself.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know who I am?
I'm
I'm Russell
Russell
Crowe.
Crowe. uh,
Making movies, writing songs, fighting around the world.
and his character's name is Greg McConnor. You know, that's
No, it's
super
not.
weird.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's he's credited under the name Knox. But
It's it's a different story. I mean, same basis as, somebody who's really good at fighting goes to save a bar from ruffians that keep coming in there and trashing the place. Uh,
rapscallions,
this
if you will.
this storyline is Jake Gyllenhaal is a disgraced ex UFC fighter who is down on his luck and is approached by was it Jessica? Yeah, Jessica Williams to save her bar from ruffians or rapscallions. Um, and uh, yeah, it looks really cool. I'm really excited about this. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
And it
I
looks
really
funny
appreciate
too.
it looks funny. The action looks amazing. I really appreciate actors like Gyllenhaal and like um, Christian Bale, Charlize Theron, that really put their bodies through a lot for their roles.
Hmm.
I think that's crazy. Um, because he looks fucking. I mean, he's jacked.
I mean, he's not quite to the southpaw size,
Yeah,
but also, dude bulked for this.
yeah, yeah. The only thing I really need this movie to do, I told you off camera.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the original, um, the Swayze version in
Roadhouse.
the final showdown between Swayze and the main bad guy, Swayze rips the dude's Adam's apple out of his fucking throat and throws it in his face. Um, I need that to happen to Conor McGregor in this movie. I need that to happen. That's like that's like making Total Recall, which they did without having the three boobed girl in the movie, which they also did. Um, so we need this scene, please, and thank you from your fans.
I mean, that's like an iconic
Yeah,
moment. You know,
yeah.
three boot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm talking about the Roadhouse thing.
I mean, technically, in the remake of Total Recall, they did have a three boobed girl, but they were covered up, which is
It's
boring.
not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No, but I mean, that's such an iconic like moment from the original Roadhouse.
That's like the part
it
you talk about. You know
it
what I mean?
has to,
Yeah.
or something at least on the same like equivalency
Yeah.
of like brutality scale.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be like, "Oh, he hit him in his throat. He like choked to death." Like
Yeah.
we've seen that 1,000 times.
Right. Yeah.
How
Rip something out.
how yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I have expectations for this movie. The trailer looks fantastic, and I'm not doubting that it's gonna follow through, but I need this scene.
yeah. Do it.
Yeah. Maybe
Cardi
throw a
Cola,
little
do
hot,
it, do it, do it.
maybe like rip his throat out and pour a little hot sauce down his yapper,
But it
so
can't
just
be
burns.
Frank's. You know, it
No,
should
no,
it
it's
should
got to be something specific,
like a pickled
something
habanero.
something that goes on practically anything.
Oh, like a ripped out throat.
Speaking of hot sauces that go on practically anything,
Wait.
we're gonna talk about sponsor number 2, which is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Listen up and we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. Okay, friends, now what we want to kind of wrap up this episode with is a little bit of a throwback. Not too far, just back to the distant year of 2019.
It's like kind of a toss back, just like a
Yeah. It's like, you know how when you're walking upstairs and you like miss a step and then you like drop down one step? That's this throwback.
So when Nicole, my girlfriend, and I have been doing this thing where, because I love her to death, but she's so indecisive about what she wants to watch. When I'm like, I've been picking movies for days, you pick something, and she's like, I don't know. I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, do you want to watch this? No, I don't want to watch that. Well, you know. So she came up with this system where what we'll do is we'll pick a movie, and then from that movie, you pick the supporting actor or actress in that movie, and then pick a movie that they're in. Makes it a little easier to kind of pick movies. Anyways, this led us to this movie that we're about to talk about, which you had not seen up until this point, and I was like, dude, you have to watch this movie. What are you talking about? And then you now watched it. So we're like, hey, we should talk about this movie because it's a really good movie, and it's the first time for you. So
and it was
the movie
gentle.
is
Tenet.
Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet.
There's no N
Tenet.
other than in the middle. Oh, it sounded like you said tenant. And I was like, no, he
I
doesn't live in an apartment building.
I just mumble. I'm not the most enunciating individual, if you so please.
Yeah, Tenet. It's a Christopher Nolan film. It's very much in that, in my opinion, in the headspace of Inception.
Yeah.
It's the action is really cool. The movie is really cool. It's like 2.5 hours long, I think. But there is this confusing aspect to it that you're like, fuck. And much like Inception, I had to watch it multiple times to like really get it.
Yeah. I think that I had a little bit of a leg up on. I'm sure that I don't fully get it, but I had a little bit of a heads up from you.
Yeah.
As we were talking about, like I knew the premise that there was like some things that happen in reverse.
Yeah.
They call it inverted. And you're like, yeah, but
I have one of those. No, I'm just kidding.
Belly button or peen?
I don't want to talk about
Yes. Okay. But you had mentioned that there's really like two timelines going towards each other.
Yes.
And then kind of, it's weird. There's like multiple high points in the movie, but like the ultimate like climax, which sounds weird to phrase it that way, but like the climax of the film is kind of in the dead center of the movie instead of like the last 75% of the movie, like most films are.
It's one of my favorite parts. You keep talking. Sorry.
Because then they like those timelines overlap, cross. Then you start seeing moments that already happened, but from a different perspective. It's so cool.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it, go watch it and blah 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 blah. But the cool thing about this movie is the different perspective that you see it in is the same character's perspective.
Yeah.
But the timeline that's going this way doesn't know that the person going this way is him. So, but this version of him knows that, that he's gonna intersect with himself, but this version does not. And so when they do like cross paths, which we've already seen, like the first half of the movie is your main character's perspective going this way, and then so you see them like interact with each other and fight each other, but you don't know that this person is the same person going this way. Do you see how this could be a little confusing? And you might
Yeah.
have to watch it a couple times. It's a really really fun, interesting movie, and I mean it's so wild. Uh, it's John David Washington, Robert Pattinson. Um, I
Uh
really should have just
oh,
fucking looked this shit up,
Branna.
Peters. What are
Branna.
you doing?
Oh my god. What's his fucking first name?
Kenneth.
Kenneth Branagh. Yes, thank you.
John David Washington, Elizabeth Debicki, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I forgot
Oh
he was in that
yeah.
until yeah. Um,
He is. That's Andrew
Hamish
Howard.
Patel. You would know him from Inception. He is the driver in Inception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um
Michael Caine, obviously.
well, yeah, it's a Christopher Nolan thing. Um I don't think he can make a movie without Michael Caine. So,
I'm okay with that. I love Michael Caine.
hopefully it doesn't happen for a long, long time, but when Michael Caine dies, Christopher Nolan will probably just retire. Um, no, but then also, I mean, he has a smaller part in it,
Yeah.
but Andrew Howard does show up throughout the film. He was most recently seen in Echo as well.
Mhm.
I it is kind of trippy because it's like the top spinning at the end of Inception, where you
But like
don't
a whole movie
see.
based.
Yeah, because again, spoiler alert, a huge thing at the end of it is that we find out that John David Washington. I wanted to say Brian, but that's so not right.
Brian
John.
Tyree Henry. It's that three name
It
thing.
is, and
Yeah.
it just makes me feel like a piece of shit because they're completely different people, and I know this. But John David Washington's character is confused because Robert Pattinson is like, oh, I knew that this was happening. I've known about this from the start. You're the one that recruited me. For me, it was years ago. For you, it's years from now. And it's just like, so he like did so much of everything inverted. But then towards the end of this movie, he goes back through to not being inverted because they have like these weird machines that like invert. I don't fully grasp it.
Gotta
And
watch it a few times.
I know that the second time that I watch it, I won't grasp it anymore because I plan on being baked off my fucking board.
This was
Because
my
it was
third time
incredible.
watching it. And yeah. So there's like parts of like to your point that you were making there about Pattinson. There's like parts where John David was gonna say Washington, is like he's like, who sent you? How'd you know this? Like, who you working for? Like blah blah. And it's him. It's it's John David Washington the whole time.
And
But
there's a moment where, very early in the film, that then we get to see later in the film from the inverted perspective, where Robert Pattinson is accidentally fighting John David Washington.
and then
Takes off his mask, realizes that it's him, and is like, "Oh, sorry, bud." Throws him back his mask, and then fucks off.
Yeah.
And then when it happens later, and John David Washington now has that perspective, he's like, "Why didn't you say anything?" He's like, "You weren't ready to understand."
Yeah.
That if you encounter yourself, you can fucking go mad in an
Yeah.
instant. And by, especially if the person that, like, your past self you encounter, if they're not ready to understand what's going on,
That affects your future self.
that affects your future. And you can just obliterate everything.
Yeah. It's a wild movie.
It's
The,
so cool.
yeah, the action is fucking sweet. The story is sweet. I mean, the
Fan-
concept of it is insane. There's like this,
Absolutely magical science fiction writing
yeah.
happens from Christopher Nolan and his team.
There's like a part of the movie, I think it was one of the things that like the first time I saw it and I was like, What? Like the when he's like catching the bullets in the gun when the one girl is like explaining to him what
Yeah.
Tenet is, and he's like firing the bullets, but the bullets are just going from the paper into the gun, and she throws a bullet on the table and she's like you can catch it, and she like pulls it up into her hand, and he's like, how can you do that if you haven't done it yet? And she's like, because you haven't done it yet, but you will do it. And it's like a really fucking like, holy fucking shit, what is happening right now? Like my head hurts. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's a good ass movie.
along the, sorry, just to elaborate more on, because I said science fiction. A lot of people think of science fiction as like Star Wars, Star
Yeah.
Trek, like things like that. Even The Expanse, which is really well written science fiction, but this uses the concept of science to create really awesome fiction.
Mm.
I mean, even the movie Interstellar literally had doctoral papers written about it because their science was so spot on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, I think that he's a fucking genius. Like, he has to be to be able to like imagine these things and do it so well that like scientists are like, can we? Can we?
Wait a second. He might be onto something. Yeah.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I geek out over
Yeah.
all
Great
that stuff.
movie. Please go watch it if you haven't seen it. Like, it's mind-boggling. But
Explain
it,
why you phrase it as mind-boggling, because I think that
it's
it
like
makes
when your
a ton of
thoughts get
sense.
trapped in your mind like a bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a quote from Pineapple Express. I was just joking.
Is it really from Pineapple? That phrase makes so much sense. I was just like, but why did you say that?
Yeah,
Like,
James Franco says it to Seth Rogen in Pineapple Express.
huh.
And then Seth Rogen gets mad at him for saying it, and he's like, "No, the term is mind-boggling." And he's like, "No, like when your thoughts get all trapped in your mind like a bottle." And he's like, "What?" But yeah,
Oh my god.
I was just quoting the movie.
Did I
Sorry.
just become Seth Rogen's character from that movie?
But yeah, please go check this movie out. If you haven't seen it, you're Chad and get out from under the rock
Excuse
you're
me.
living in.
I've
But
seen it. Okay.
now,
Once in the
like a
past
week ago,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Like 4 days ago.
Acting's great. And like if you didn't know this already, because I have known it for like all of 2 weeks. John David Washington is Denzel Washington's son. It's not Denzel, it's Denzel.
Yeah. Not not only did you drop two truth bombs on people,
I just found that out. Yeah, it's actually
the
from
Denzel
his
or the
from his from Denzel. God damn it! See, I'm so embedded
well,
with it
it's
now.
because he's Denzel Jr. So
Yeah,
instead of saying Junior or anything like that, his mom would say Denzel for his dad or
and
Denzel
Yeah,
for him, and then it just stuck.
went with it.
I also just saw that that interview because it was Graham Norton,
Yeah.
right? It was on the Graham Norton
hmm
show. Yeah,
hmm Love Graham Norton.
he's the best.
Anyways, that's it. That's what we got for movies. Um, we're gonna close out this episode. But before we close out this episode, we are going to talk about our honorable mentions. Chad, what do you have?
So I have, well, technically three, but we did just talk about Tenet. Fantastic. And then because of that, I watched The Creator again with also John David Washington. And since it was at home, I could press pause when I had to get up to go to the bathroom. So I saw a couple of extra scenes that I had not seen the first time because I have weak bladder control as a grown man. It's terrible. Love that movie. I started watching Saltburn as well because nominated for a bunch of stuff. A lot of people online talking about how great it was. I didn't finish it. It might. It's like a 2.5 hour long movie. If in the first 45 minutes I was like, meh, and a little creeped out by certain character development, which means it's well written and does its job, but I was like so not into it. That's really about it. I just kind of like steamrolled through everything. What did you watch this week? I guess.
Um, I had to. I was trying to get my kid to get into um Across the Spider-Verse because there's a lot of pretty lights and in that movie, and he just passed out, and I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna watch this anyway, and so I watched Across the Spider-Verse again, probably like my fourth time, maybe fifth watching it because I love that fucking movie and
So good.
franchise. Um, I also watched Masters of the Air, which is Austin Butler's new TV series on Apple Plus. But I only the first three episodes are out. I watched the first two. Um, let it cook a little bit. The first episode is a little slow, but like the last like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of it is like, oh, damn. Okay, okay, okay. I see you, you know. And the second episode's awesome. So, um, let that one cook if you're gonna watch that. And then I also watched Amsterdam. Finally, I wanted to see it in theaters. I never got around to it. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie. Um,
John David Washington.
Thank you, John David. That's how I got there. Was we were because we watched Tenet and then we picked a
Yeah.
whatever. Um,
If there's
let's go.
ever a running theme throughout any of our episodes, it's this.
Yeah,
John David Washington.
John David Washington. Yeah, it was a really fucking cool movie. I really liked it. I like I said, I'm a huge fan of Christian Bale and like Jake Gyllenhaal and people like that you know uh but it was really fun to see Christian Bale in like a smart ass kind of quippy role. Um that was really cool.
I mean, it's kind of
Um
like Ford versus Ferrari,
yes,
where
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
just like off the
Smart.
cuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
It was a lot of
necessarily
fun.
like witty and quirky, but just first thing off the brain is out the tongue.
Yeah. And I really like Taylor Swift, so I'm not personally gonna talk shit. But if you don't want to watch a good movie and you want to watch Taylor Swift get run over by a car, watch this movie. 'Cause
It's a weird way to phrase that.
I'm just saying that a lot of people hate on Taylor Swift. I don't, but
Uh,
when I
it's because the people that hate on Taylor Swift are told to by guys that were bullied out of wearing bow ties, but still did a lot of shit for Fox
Yeah.
News,
Um,
not
but yeah,
studios.
some people don't like her. I like her.
She's
Uh,
incredible.
but
She's a
it
fucking icon.
is for me. It was just funny. It wasn't satisfying. I wasn't like, oh God, she's dead. Thank God. You know. But for me, I was like, whoa, whoa,
Because it's
that
like
came
such
out
a
of nowhere.
quick moment. I mean, I'm sure almost everyone that has access to the internet that has ever mentioned the word Taylor Swift ever on their phones, typing it in, whether it's to find music or find propaganda, whatever. They've seen this clip of her being shoved in front of a car and getting run over.
Yeah.
Probably in a meme of some sort.
Hmm. That's this movie.
I didn't know that it was that movie, but it makes me so happy. I'm going to watch this movie tonight. I'm going to watch Amsterdam tonight. I've
Do
been
it.
wanting to,
Yeah.
but I'm like, meh, there's other things to watch.
Yeah. It's good.
But
And
I'm
it's
also
worth
on a
it.
John David Washington kick right now, you know.
There you go. He's in there.
Tenet, the
In
creator.
there like swimwear.
Ooh. I
Oh.
mean, what?
What?
Hmm.
Wedgie?
Mother? What? uh, I was trying to... Never mind. I can't dig myself out of that one. I was trying to quote Family Guy when Lois finally picks Brian up by like the cuff of his neck and he goes, "Mother?" But it made me sound like a creep. So I'm gonna need to borrow your toaster. I have a bath to take.
Move on.
There's no moving
Move
on
on.
from that.
Move on.
If our listeners like this show, I don't know why at this point in time, but we would love for you to continue supporting us and become a premium subscriber over at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. It's a great way to get behind the scenes bonus content, member exclusive merch, all that stuff, as well as a way to potentially come on this show. If you don't want to do that, I mean, you can always head over to www.allthingsnerdpod.com. Please don't, Jake.
Title your sex tape?
Check out check out our merch store. Get some shit. Also, just another huge shout out to Marty over at DigCat Tech, who's been revamping our website, is helping us out with so much more. I mean, he's just a wizard. So if you need any sort of marketing for any sort of digital needs, I mean, check him out. He's a wizard. That's it. We love you all. Thank you so much for being a part of this, and I'm just gonna go kill myself. This has been the All Things Nerd podcast.